And the latest report from the Communication Authority of Kenya indicates that Facebook remains the most popular used platform between the 3 months, September to December 2023.
Yes.
This is the latest report from the regulator, followed by WhatsApp. Then we have YouTube and the likes. So it means that if you are a content creator, then you're going to be making money from your content. Only if you have at least 5 videos, active videos, of at least 60 days that have garnered 60,000 minutes of viewership. We'll be giving you those details as we talk about news this morning. And talking about news, we have not so good news stories from yesterday, where in Bomet, a grisly road accident there claimed the lives of 5, as well as 23 who survived are injured, seeking medical attention. And towards the evening now, parents and the administration of Kenyatta University had to deal with some tragic news yet again, where 11 Kenyatta University students were confirmed dead after the bus they were riding in collided with a trailer truck near Maungu on Mombasa Road, Voi. Now, this is according to Voi OCPD Dafla Ibrahim, and we're going to be keeping tabs on that as we proceed. This happened yesterday night, and that is according to the Voi OCPD there. We're going to be keeping tabs on that as we proceed with those stories that have been making headlines, as we still keep an eye on what is going to be happening at State House. Now, let's also brief you on what has been happening in the medical scene, where the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union has dismissed the Ministry of Health plans of posting at least 1,200 medical interns by 1st of April 2024. And vowed to continue with their strike. The union says similar promises made in the past had gone unfulfilled.
The strike by the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, entered its 5th day Monday, with some private hospitals experiencing an influx of patients from public hospitals. This was the situation at the Christa Marian Hospital in Kisii that is now attending to 500 patients daily from the previous 250.
At this juncture, we request the national government and even the county government that wherever they have some help, they may consider us, because we serve the public and we have dedicated all our time that whoever come to Christa Marian must be helped.
And at Afya House in Nairobi, the union officials and other health stakeholders honored an invite by Minister of Health to a crisis meeting to deliberate on resolving the stalemate. After a session, Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumisha emerged to state the government's resolution on the union's demand for absorption of 1,200 medical interns.
We have also briefed the union and agreed that we have now received a confirmation from Treasury, and beginning 1st of April, which is in 2 weeks' time, we are going to begin posting of all the interns.
But the KMPDU dismissed the promise as not binding, given similar ones made before that went unfulfilled, and vowed to continue with the strike.
That the interns were to be posted in February. We also had a promise that they'll be posted then in March. Today, we have been given a promise that they'll be posted in April. I must say that goodwill is earned, and it is earned from the outcome of previous commitments. We've had commitments before with government, both in the national and on county governments, in the month of January 2023. But nothing to date has been implemented.
Health CS Nakumicha, however, said the matter cannot be handled by the Ministry of Health alone.
And what we have done in our discussion this morning is to highlight the matters that then we agreed shall proceed to the whole of nation approach discussion, because they are cross-cutting matters. There are matters that are to do with the Ministry of Education, matters that are to do with the Council of Governors, matters that are to do with public service, matters that are to do with SRC, Treasury, Head of Public Service.
In essence, the talks there have stalled. We'll be keeping tabs on that. Now, are you 18? Do you own a Facebook or Instagram account? And are you active? Well, by June 2024, you'll be making money via content creation. This follows a deal brokered at State House Nairobi Monday between the government and the U.S. social media giant Meta to monetize content. While making the announcement, President Ruto urged the youth to take advantage of the deal to eke a living.
Data from the Communications Authority of Kenya shows U.S. social media giant Meta owned Facebook and messaging platform WhatsApp, one of the most used social media applications in Kenya in the 3 months to December 2023 at 47.5% and 47.3% respectively. YouTube was third with 21%, then Chinese-owned TikTok fourth at 17.8%, while Instagram was the fifth most used social media platform at 11.8%.
We are working with Meta Group and all the other actors in this space to make it much more easier for our MSMEs to understand how they can do business, how they can conduct their enterprises.
We will be spending billions of that, billions of our own dollars building that infrastructure now, but we want to make sure that it is available to everybody around the world for free and repurposed as it can be in multiple languages as well.
As such, the digital platform is an avenue the government is capitalizing on for job creation and revenue collection. Following a meeting at State House Nairobi between President William Ruto and Facebook President of Global Affairs, Nick Clegg, eligible Kenyan content creators will now earn from their Facebook and Instagram spaces by June this year.
And this is very much in tandem, Your Excellency, with your bottom-up economic transformation agenda, more specifically the last thematic area in which the digital superhighway and the creative economy are Siamese twins.
President Ruto said the country is eagerly waiting for the rollout and that digital service tax must be paid.
Positive thing I keep hearing from the people in the digital space, they keep telling me, you know, we're going to make this much money minus tax. It's going to be so much. I'm very happy that everybody is now becoming conscious about making sure that we pay our taxes, because it's the only way we can sustain and maintain our independence as a country.
Those eligible must be 18 years and above and have at least 5 active videos on their Facebook or Instagram page that have collected more than 60,000 minutes of views in the last 60 days to be paid through M-Pesa.
I think this is a day that we've been looking forward to. It will be a beginning of something great, and we are thankful for this opportunity.
The availability of mobile payments can be quite pervasive across every aspect of society. So the hope is to hopefully export this example more broadly. And I know that the mobile payments team is quite committed to integrate this even for our ads business, because we see this as a very strategic market.
The taxman has been collecting digital service tax since January 2021, targeting revenues earned by digital service providers like Google, Netflix, Meta, Twitter, and even Microsoft, raking in 5.3 billion shillings from the digital economy in the financial year 2022-2023.
Well, so if you're an influencer, we just beg to remind you that indeed in the Finance Act of 2023, there were amendments to the Act to include digital service tax now touching on social influencers as well as cryptocurrency traders. What this means is that we will know how much the taxman, or rather the government, made from the implementation of the digital service tax as we come to the close of the financial year 2022-2023, which is not far from here. We're looking at June. So questions, Victor? Yes?
How much was collected?
Now, we only have the numbers of the Finance Act 2021-2022 before the amendments to the Act now for the financial year 2022-2023. But the numbers so far, as I mentioned, just from the introduction of the digital service tax, a cool 5.3 billion shillings was earned through digital tax. This means that digital service tax is 1.5% of your gross earnings. This affects, yes, anyone or any business that makes money from a social media or an online platform. And you are also required to register if
Yes.
you're non-resident.
So there are terms and conditions.
Yes, we call them TORs.
Yes.
They're terms and conditions, but then you have, if you want to make a shilling out of the content that you have in this age of influencing, well, what you need to do is be above 18, have a vibrant page or account, especially the, the vids and reels if you're on Instagram and also Facebook. Yes, but what you need to know is that this will require, if you're going to be earning, it will require that you register.
Yeah.
Nothing is for free. Whatever belongs to Caesar, it belongs to Caesar. But then, especially those who spent some time, Victor, those who are always on social media platforms, I'm sure this is an opportunity they're going to take to, to try and make ends meet, so to speak.
Nothing comes easy, and nothing is for free.
And it's not as straightforward as it may look.
Exactly, and this is my caution to the content creators.
Yes.
Please make sure that you read the terms and conditions. Before you get into that, there is a law.
Yeah.
So you're going to be working, creating more content to your Facebook page. You're going to have hours of views, but make sure that you read the terms and conditions. Regina has really crunched those figures for us. Regina, thank you for that. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
But I think it's a welcome move, given that Kenya is one of those that are going to be benefiting from this. But then look at it from the geopolitics of it. And I want to throw these partners to the works.
Yes.
Popularity of TikTok, that is owned by Chinese or China,
yes,
against social media giant Meta, that owns Facebook, Instagram, and even WhatsApp. In the US, in some states, we have seen them pass laws to bar use of TikTok. So other than what is happening here in the local field, as they say, ni kunguru akipigana furaha ya panzi. I don't know who is what. My Swahili is not as good. But let's look at the geopolitics of it. If these two social media giants are actually at it, we are capitalistic at this point. It is you and I as users who are bound to benefit. Don't you think so? Well. So let's go. Let's use our social media platforms to grow, or rather even our businesses and such, because everything is available at the touch of a button.
Yeah.
Mike, I've never seen you have videos online. Is this the time that
well, maybe it's the first
to consider that?
It's high time I consider that and start making something out of it.
Well, just you did need to know that you have to have 5 videos, 60 days that are active actually.
Yes.
Have garnered, is it 60,000?
60,000.
60,000 views.
Yes.
Then you stand to earn 1,000?
Yes, just in 1 second, let me get to the figure. To qualify for a program, a creator is required to have at least 5,000 followers on their private Facebook profile and 10,000 followers on a Facebook page, and a minimum of 5 live videos on a profile or 3 on a page. So these are the figures. Video content posted on a Facebook profile must have a minimum of 60,000. You're right, Regina. 60,000 total minutes viewed in the past 60 days from organic followers, while for a page, the requirement is 600,000 viewed minutes within the same period. Yes.
My worry as a social media user, now we're going to have people hacking other people's accounts.
Data protection now comes in.
It's actually one of the things that last week we were tackling cyber security with one of the directors from the CAK, and between September and December there are more than 1.2 billion cybersecurity threats. So you can imagine the kind of area we are delving into in as far as content creation is concerned. So as Regina has said, chances of others trying to access others' page without their consent probably are going to rise.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will continue unpacking that as we look at, matters of current affairs and how they affect you as an end user. Now, the government will be allocating funds according to needs of ministries, departments and agencies to curb wastage. President William Ruto says the executive will work with Parliament to ensure that this year's budget allocation is both prudent and accountable. President Ruto made the remarks during the funeral of Mama Anna Tukiu Nolo Parkour Tunai, mother of former Narok Governor Samuel Tunai in Longroria, Narok County.
President William Ruto says government agencies that can raise their revenue will not be allocated additional funds.
There is still a lot of wastage in government. And I want to ask members of parliament to work with us so that where we don't need money, where institutions can support their own budgets, we don't give them additional resources.
The president says the government has enacted 4 new laws to ensure every Kenyan has access to quality health care, regardless of their financial ability. He appealed to Kenyans with means to support the new public health insurance scheme by contributing 2.75% of their salary to actualize universal health coverage.
Hata kama mambo ya matibabu ni kazi ya counties, serikali kuu tutatoa pesa. 30% of all equipment we are going to pay as national government so that we can support counties. Na vile vile tutakuwa na program ambayo tutasaidia counties. Kama wanahitaji equipment, tutawasaidia kupata hiyo equipment. We will deploy national government resources and then they can pay over time. Wanaweza kulipa kwa miaka 5 au miaka 7, lakini huduma ya afya kwa wananchi ipatikane sasa. Hiyo program tunaanzisha next month.
President Ruto also revealed that the government is working on ensuring that subsidized fertilizer reaches farmers at the grassroots.
Nataka niwahakikishie tuko na mbolea ya kutosha kwa sababu as a country we cannot continue to import food. Hatuwezi kuendelea kuagiza chakula ambayo tunaweza kuzalisha hapa Kenya. Nataka tukisimama, nyinyi mlio viongozi hapa na walio na uwezo, tunataka tukisimama mbele ya Mungu tuseme tulizalisha chakula Kenya, wale hawakuwa na chakula walipata chakula.
The head of state says the government is working to enhance tourism by removing visa requirements for visitors. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua assured Kenyans that the government has overcome economic challenges and is better positioned to address the country's development needs.
This is a time because things are looking better. Sasa mambo imekuwa mzuri, bolea imeteremuka from 7,000 to 2,500, walimu wameandikwa, unga ndio hiyo imeteremuka. And we also want leaders also to be truthful.
The government has adopted a strategy to suppress the supply chain of illicit alcohol and narcotic drugs, as well as hold security agencies liable for failure to eradicate the vice. Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has directed security and law enforcement agencies to generate a county-specific program to counter the drug, substance and illicit alcohol menace, as well as destroy the supply and demand chain.
The CS for Interior, Professor Kithure Kindiki, on Monday toured various counties and held consultative meetings with security teams on issues of national security in their regions. At the meetings, Kindiki maintained that the war on drugs and substance abuse must be won.
I have asked each county to develop a plan, an operational order, which will guide the operation so that you don't have an officer venturing out alone to go and deal with some drug peddlers or drug traffickers, because we have had 1 or 2 unpleasant incidents, and this is because the relevant counties had not finalized the operational orders.
The Interior Cabinet Secretary said the transfer of police officers also remains a priority. Already more than 10,000 out of 42,500 police officers have been transferred.
We have also asked all officers, all public officers who are involved in any business connected with alcohol, they must stop and close that business, or alternatively they leave service. In law enforcement, in an industry where they have business interest, creates a conflict of interest, and therefore one must give way and it support the officers to choose We don't want any conflict of interest.
CS Kindiki warned leaders against politicizing the war on illicit brew, even as he warned political leaders against political intolerance.
No politician of whatever stature is allowed to use violence, goons, and other criminals to harass, intimidate, or incite the public against each other. And I have left very firm and clear directives on the Trans Nzoia County Security Committee to be firm, ruthless, and merciless on all people who sponsor, finance, encourage, support, aid, and abet goons and political thugs.
Meanwhile, the CS noted that efforts are underway to clear the passport backlog.
To the courts, embattled Bishop David Gakuyo has finally secured his release after being in prison for 1 month. Gakuyo finally managed to raise the 20 million shillings surety after his 2 attempts to have the bond reviewed downward flopped. This and more stories in our main headlines from the courts.
It was a relief Monday for the Calvary Chosen Church leader David Gakuyo after he presented to the court 2 sureties to cater for the 20 million bond slapped on him a month ago.
But unfortunately, we are not the ones who are in possession of the passports. It's the police. Okay. And I believe it is still safe with the police. Perhaps we request, because our client has been trusted for the last 1 month, that you facilitate to aid that we get the release order, and then we can get a mention when the police can bring the passport.
Gakuyo had on 2 occasions approached the court to have the bond slashed but failed. Gakuyo walked into freedom after John Ngugi and Peter Kamau came to his rescue by producing 2 land title deeds worth 30 million shillings. He now is pre-trial set for 23rd April 2024. Elsewhere, 2 elderly women have been charged before Milimani Law Court for receiving 1.8 million shillings by pretending that they were in a position to execute a court order.
No, I don't contradict myself. I've made that decision right now, but the trial magistrate, you're free to move the trial magistrate.
The 2 appeared before Senior Principal Magistrate Susan Shitubi, denied the offense and were released on a 1 million shillings bond. Meanwhile, a 67-year-old man has been arraigned in Makindo locals for raping a minor. According to the prosecution, the accused Peter Mutuku was arrested on Saturday evening after being on the run.
Kwa wakati huu tutakunyima hiyo bond, tupate ripoti yako kutoka kwa probation, tunaita pre-sentence report, ambayo itazingatia maoni ya mlalamishi na pia jumla ya raia community.
Finally, a witness in the National Youth Service 167.5 million shillings corruption case involving 5 individuals has told the court that most of the goods used in 2018 were being received from the NYS headquarters in Gilgil.
Wakati tulikuwa nachukua vitu, hatukuwa nachukua vitu kwa chakula kwa matano, tulikuwa nachukua maybe spare parts for the machines, and maybe we can vitu kidogo ya kutengeneza matinga. Hizo ndio tulikuwa tunachukua kwake. Lakini maneno ya violation, I don't know, hatukuchukua zaidi.
During cross-examination, Koech told trial magistrate Lucas Onina that it was not abnormal to place orders through radio calls.
Do you have any such letter that Gilgil signed for you to come pick your ration, or rather your spare parts from Nairobi?
The 5 are facing 54 charges of defrauding the National Youth Service.
Now, from the courts, we're going to be taking our first breather this morning. Remember, we're also keeping tabs on what is going to be happening in less than an hour or so from State House, Nairobi, where President William Ruto is expected to sign or rather consent to the housing levy there and make it law, meaning that we or other government is going to be implementing its project under the affordable housing. We'll be keeping tabs on that. For now, that breather will be back. Since we're waiting to hear from State House, let's bring you up to speed with what is happening in as far as matters of affordable housing, where over 100,000 affordable housing units are under construction in various parts of the country. According to Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome, the development will bridge the 2 million housing deficit and cater to the growing population in urban areas and stop the fragmentation of arable land. The CS spoke during the launch of the ministry's strategic plan for 2023-2027 and added that the housing bill that is expected to be signed into law by the president today will go a long way in funding the program. Here's Geverson Minor.
The government appears to be looking ahead in the provision of houses to millions of Kenyans in need of decent and affordable housing.
The official launch.
On Monday, Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome presided over the launch of the ministry's 4-year strategic plan, which, among others, provides a roadmap to the implementation of the affordable housing project.
The aim of these interventions is to provide houses to low and middle income earners and create employment for over 1 million Kenyans.
The government has maintained that the housing project has already put hundreds of thousands of Kenyans into jobs, with many more expected to be employed in the coming months.
Since His Excellency came into power, we've already launched 45,525 units. They are under construction. There were 8,872 that we inherited from the previous government that we transitioned. And just now, we have awarded 48,988 units, bringing us to 103,485 units that are going to be under construction.
The affordable housing project has in the meantime been tweaked to prevent the fragmentation of arable land.
Land is being fragmented every day. For what purpose? For human settlement purposes. If we don't stop that, and we're already food insecure, the future is not bright.
Meanwhile, the government says by 2027, it shall have registered and titled all parcels of land.
The ministry is committed to fast-tracking registration of titles and transfer of titles in land transactions. You've heard Generali say that we aim to produce 2 million titles the next 5 years.
The famous Artisasa, where we have rolled out in Nairobi, which is automation of the entire process of land transaction. And as the EU representative has just indicated, our teams are in Murang'a right now, they're in Mombasa, they're in Moboko, and they're in Isiolo, undertaking the digitization process.
Plans are also underway to eliminate corruption in the land sector through the automation of services.
Former Mombasa Governor Hassan Ali Joho claims his political base gives him an edge over former Kakamega colleagues Wycliffe Oparanyas to succeed opposition leader Raila Odinga. Joho says it was time the Orange Party adopts a new strategy and have a leader outside the Western region to win leadership.
Former Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho is now keen to take over the mantle of the ODM party leadership and is already on a lobbying mission. Joho, banking on what he claims to be a wider political base than his main opponent, former Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya.
Mtu ambaye jiona ni yeye, huyo ampoteza mwelekeo. We have to form a team of equals, like-minded leaders who believe in a cause, who understand where we want to go as a party and as a people to be able to liberate our people. It's not about one person, it will never be.
Joho, who claims to have his sight set on the 2027 presidential contest, insists it is a payback time for the Coast region, which has been loyal in ODM for 20 years.
Kuna makosa gani mimi kusema kwamba sisi tumekuwa wafuasi kwa muda mrefu? Ni wakati pia sisi kufatwa.
The ODM deputy party leader warned those doubting his ability to watch his space.
Kama kuna mtu who sacrificed maisha yake kujitoa mhanga on behalf of Raila Amolo Odinga over the years, not for over 6 months, and you're doing so because of possible succession conversations. He
was speaking to residents of Kisauni during Ramadan food distribution program that he intends to actualize across the county. Juni Karisa Mbele from Mombasa County.
To matters business now, the construction of Kenya's first nuclear power plant in Kilifi County is becoming a reality, with Kenya almost signing a funding agreement with various countries. The Nuclear Power Energy Agency says the nuclear energy plant will cost more than 500 billion shillings with a mixture of exchequer and development partners funding. Early this month, Kenya's quest to develop a nuclear reactor received a major boost from the International Atomic Energy Agency. Rioba with the details.
Last 16 years, Kenya has been laying the ground for the construction of the first nuclear energy power plant in the region. The process has been slow and expensive due to tough demands set by the International Atomic Energy Agency. So far, Kenya has managed to create the necessary legal framework for nuclear waste management, as well as the creation of a nuclear power and energy agency to police nuclear energy development in the country. Early this month, IAEA review mission gave Kenya a stamp of approval after the team said Kenya has made significant progress in the development of the national nuclear infrastructure for the country's new research reactor program.
Kenya has also commenced the process of ascending and ratifying relevant international treaties and conventions that relate to nuclear safety.
NOPEA Chief Executive Justus Wabuyabo says Kenya has signed a memorandum of understanding with China, United States and South Korea for the funding of the $5 billion nuclear energy power plant in Kilifi County.
Include engaging with development partners and finance institutions to be able to develop a finance model that will be that we can actually afford as a country.
Abuyabo says the plant will repay itself within 20 years, with the reactor having a shelf life of 80 years.
A nuclear power plant will operate for about 8 years, and we've been able to be told that when the plant was operating optimally, it should be able to pay for itself within 15 to 20 years.
As part of the agreement, China, US and South Korea will train Kenyan personnel on operating the nuclear plant.
Training Kenyans in various aspects of nuclear technology and science, to the point that when it comes to the time of construction and operation of a nuclear power plant, we'll have adequate manpower to safely and securely maintain and operate the power plant.
Already, the environmental impact assessment is being carried out in Kilifi County, with NOPEA planning to start the reactor's construction in 3 years' time. The Koeberg Nuclear Power Station in Cape Town, South Africa, is the only one on the African continent.
To sports, the national under-20 soccer team Rising Stars is scheduled to leave the country today for the Four Nations tournament in Malawi, where they'll be all out to ensure they come back home with a trophy.
In an open media session held at Kasarani Stadium, Coach Salim Babu said the team had solid training sessions which ensured the players were well prepared for their opponents.
Kama team tulikuwa shaeka tukiendea tournament tuweze kushinda hizo game zote mbili, kwa sababu ni game semi-final na finali. Sasa imekuwa round robin, but lakini nijua game zote mbili tunataka kushinda.
The tactician believes the tournament will be a good platform for the players to propel them to work harder in order to realize their goals.
Tumeka vijana ready, tuka set kila kitu mind na technical bench na kila mtu tukaongea naye, so tuta make sure kila kitu tunaenda kufanya huko kitu right, kwa sababu ni team tumekuwa nayo kuanzia under 18, tumekuwa na karibu 3 weeks huko na Kisumu. So tumekuja hapa tumekaa nao 1 week, nafikiri tuko ready.
Team captain Amos Wanjala said they expect physical encounters against Malawi, Zimbabwe and Zambia. The team held their final training session on Monday ahead of their departure on Tuesday evening.
Kwa kwanza hakuna football utaka kulose. Najua inaenda kuwa tough tournament juu maybe hatujui our opponents venye wako, but mimi na feel tuko well prepared to face anyone who comes before us.
That effectively puts our news into a break. Remember, we're going to be keeping tabs on State House as well as the developments in regard to where the doctor strike that seemingly is still ongoing after talks failed, and also updates from the various OCPDs in regard to accidents that were reported late evening yesterday, especially where 11 students of Kenyatta University perished in that grisly road accident on Mombasa Road. I'm Regina Manyara. I leave in the capable hands of my colleague Victor Olo, who's also going to be keeping tabs on what is happening at State House this morning, where the president is expected to sign into law the housing levy bill. Have a great day ahead. I'm Regina Manyara.